evening and welcome. This is Primetime News on TV1 coming to you live and direct from our brand new Studio R here in Colombo. I'm Jaimal Ratnayaka for the Newsfirst team. A very good evening to you, Dasani.
Good evening, Jaimal, and I'm Dasani Athada. Let's start off with a look at tonight's headlines.
Clash at Eastern University over ragging. Prime Minister justifies extra security provided to Ranil Wickremesinghe. Colombo Crimes Division records statements from judges who were mentioned in Ranjan Ramanayaka's phone recordings. Viyatmaga members to contest the general election.
නමුත් ජනතාව ජටි ඉල්ලුමක් තියෙනවා වියතුම් පාර්ලිමේන්තුවට එන්න කියලා. ඒකයි තාම සුවල්පයක් තියෙන්නේ. ඉතින් ඒකෙදි අපි කොහොමද බලනවා මේක ක්‍රියාත්මක.
Another round of decisive discussions of UNP to be held tomorrow.
Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa said that he hopes that the Chief Justice will take action on the statements made about the judiciary in the controversial leaked phone conversations. The Prime Minister stressed that he hopes to take steps in a manner that would not cause any issues between the legislature and the judiciary.
Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa met with heads of media institutions at Temple Trees this morning.
The Chief Justice should take some action against this. We don't know if phone calls were made to those positions as well. People have a suspicion regarding this. People asking me, this suspicion has spread across the country.
The Chief Justice should take steps to protect the integrity of the judiciary. If we get involved in this now, then there will be a clash between the legislature and the judiciary.
The faith of the judiciary that has been lost must be recreated now. We cannot move forward as a country if this is not done.
The Prime Minister said that with the implementation of concessions announced by the government, the cost of living will gradually reduce in the future.
The income has increased as a result of the concessions that were given and the reduction of the VAT. We hope to bring about development together with the private sector.
New businesses are being created, new factories are being created. Last week, the Minister of Finance advised banks to provide loans up to 300 million rupees at a concessionary rate of 10% for the people who have paid back their loans. People who have actually engaged in businesses have new hope in 2020. Taxes have been reduced, interest rates have been reduced. We hope to encourage the private sector to increase production. Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa at the meeting today said that the previous regime had approved the MCC agreement in the cabinet and had also entered into certain verbal agreements. He said that the government hopes to reach a decision on the agreement after reviewing the agreement through the committee headed by Dr. Lalitha Gunaruwan. Journalists questioned the Prime Minister regarding the forensic audit of the central bank bond issuance not being made public.
That has been handed over to the Speaker. I think there is a legal issue. The Attorney General had asked for certain sections not to be presented.
Sir, the COPE committee will be appointed in Parliament. It can be presented on the first day that COPE convenes. There is no. The committees have not been named as yet.
නීතිපතිතුමා එදා ඒ ලියුම කිව්වස පාර්ලිමේන්තුවේ දා ප්‍රකාශ කරා.
මහින්ද ලංකාවට සම්බන්ධ වෙන සිංගප්පූරු.
ඒ කියන්නේ සාමාන්‍ය එදා අපි වැඩ පිළිවෙලක් ඒක දියත් කරගෙන යනවා ඒක නතර කරලා නැහැ. එයා ගෙන්න ගැනීම. අය වගකීම අපිට තියෙනවනේ. හලෝ මෙයා දෙන්න කියලා කිව්වට දෙන්නේ නැහනේ.
The Prime Minister responded to a question raised on the additional security that has been provided to the former Prime Minister.
මේකෙදිත් හිටපු අගමැතිවරයා වශයෙන් එතුමා ඉල්ලලා තියෙනවා මේ එයාගේ ලේකම්මරා අපිට මේක සිකියුරිටි එක දෙන්න කියලා. සම්බන්ධට සියලු ගෙවල් දොරවල් ඔක්කොම සම්බන්ධකම් දුන්නානේ විපක්ෂ නායකකම නැතුව. ඒක ඉස්සරහට දාලා සාමාන්‍ය ප්‍රයිම් මිනිස්ටර්ට හිටපු අගමැතිවරයා වශයෙන් කණ්ඩායම දෙනවා මම දන්නේ 200ක් දුන්නාද කියලා.
ට්‍රෙඩ් ඇසෙස්මන්ට් එක උඩ තමයි ඒක තීන්දුව වෙන්නේ. ඉතින් දැන් වර්තමානයේ තියෙන තත්ත්වෙම ට්‍රෙඩ් ඇසෙස්මන්ට් එක කරන්න වෙයි මම. කරනවා.
ඒකෙදි මේ වෙන කට්ටියකින් නෙවෙයි මම හිතන්නේ අතුලින්ම
ව්‍යවස්ථා සංශෝධනය සම්බන්ධයෙන් ආණ්ඩුව උත්සාහ කරන බව පේනවා. අපි දැනගන්න කැමති මොන වගේ ශ්‍රේෂ්ඨ සම්බන්ධයෙන් මේ සංශෝධනය සිදුවන්නේ කියලා.
අලුත් ආණ්ඩුවක් ආවෙන් පස්සේ අපි ඒව ගැන
Meanwhile, Minister Bandulu Gunawardena said that with the escalating tensions between the US and Iran, global oil prices have begun to rise.
We are not a country that produces oil. So when the global oil prices are increased, the general public will have to bear the burden. The global oil prices is not something that we can control. The issues with the oil prices is that it changes with the global oil prices. That is why the IOC changes the prices to the existing price. The government is providing fuel at a concessionary rate. We will have to look into how much concessions the government can give. On one hand, with the reduction in VAT and other taxes, and if we reduce the taxes we get from fuel as well, we will have to face serious issues when it comes to the payment of salaries and management of state finances.
On to more headline-making news. The Colombo Crimes Division continues to record statements from a number of judges connected to the leaked phone conversations with Ranjan Ramanayaka. Now, former Judge Padmini Ranawaka provided a statement to the CCD this evening.
The Attorney General had instructed the Colombo Crimes Division to record statements from judges connected to the leaked phone conversations. Thereby, former Judge Padmini Ranawaka made a statement at the CCD at 2 this evening. The former judge left the premises at around 5:30 p.m. after the CCD recorded her statement. Meanwhile, the Colombo Crimes Division also recorded a statement from High Court Judge Gihan Pilapitia. According to the CCD, the statement was recorded for over 5 hours last evening. A statement is due to be recorded from Magistrate Dhammika Hemapala, who has been suspended over his connection to the leaked phone conversations.
Minister Mahinda Amaraveera spoke about oil prices in Hambantota today.
There is a massive increase in the price of crude oil in the global market. If the fuel price formula of the previous government was still in effect, price of 1 litre of oil would have increased by more than 10 rupees by now. But we have not held discussions about that as of yet. We are hoping to look for alternatives, so the burden won't be on the people. We are trying our best. We will increase the prices only if we have no other option, but we have not made a decision yet.
UNP parliamentarian Ajit P. Pereira expressed his views about the current state of the economy in Bandaragama today.
Nowhere in the world has state workers' salaries and allowances be reduced. Government servants work every day to increase their salaries and allowances, as well as to earn more facilities. Gotabaya Rajapaksa's government said that they will pay special attention to government workers, and the private sector has now cut down their allowances. Fitch Ratings, which is a world-renowned rating agency, had downgraded Sri Lanka. The decision to cut down taxes is not a favorable one, according to economists. Fitch Ratings have said that there is a possibility for the economy to collapse when cutting down this many taxes. Besides that, many other rating agencies have said that our country's economy is in a volatile situation. This means that interest rates will increase when obtaining loans for debt repayment and development purposes. Also, due to ratings, the interest rates payable on foreign loans and debt will increase. One might ask, what may happen due to such ratings? However, the price of vegetables and other food items and all consumer goods have increased as well.
සිදුවන පොලි අනුපාතිකය වැඩි වෙනවා. දැන් සමහරු කියයි මේ රේටින්ග්ස් අඩු වුණාට අපිට මොකද කියලා. හැබැයි එළවලු මිලද, හාල් මිලද ඇතුළුව සියලුම පාරිභෝගික ද්‍රව්‍යවල මිල වැඩි වෙලා.
In a communique, the Prime Minister said that he is surprised over the statements made by the leader of the opposition and the United National Party regarding the Millennium Challenge Cooperation Compact. The opposition responded to this today.
The cat has jumped out of the bag. We can clearly see that they are now preparing to sign the MCC agreement. I don't think that anyone expected this to happen. The people hoped that the lands of the country would not be sold. The 6.9 million voters who voted for this government hope to find out how the central bank bond scam happened. Why are attempts being made to prevent the forensic audit from being presented to Parliament? The Speaker has the power to table this in Parliament. I believe that this report will be able to reveal many important details.
The Samajwadi Janata Peramuna convened a media briefing in Colombo today.
It is sad that all the problems in the country are being politicized. When they are politicized, the true issues are not addressed and they go under. The general public of our country have no idea about the situation that we will have to face if the rule of law in the country collapses. The country will deteriorate and this will lead to a military rule. That is what happens usually. No matter the guise that our enemy takes, there is one enemy of whom we should be cautious of. The main lady in the region once spoke about the resolution they presented against us at the UN General Assembly. Certain Foreign Service officials were of the opinion that we should not take strict action against this and not oppose this. But I request the government not to leave any room for this. It will not be good for the country if a powerful country like America meddles in the internal affairs of our country.
UNP MP Mujibur Rahman, addressing a media briefing, spoke about the government's plan to obtain a loan from China.
The Prime Minister has taken the cabinet approval to obtain a loan worth 1,000 million US dollars from China. It's a big amount. A massive debt repayment should be settled within this year. We have to pay back about 4,800 million US dollars. We can clearly see during the past 2 months, the management of the economy was in a very primary stage. They were against every action we took. During elections, as campaign slogans, they said we are selling national resources when we reached into agreements with foreign companies. They said they will cancel those agreements, but now they are doing the exact same thing. The political culture where the policies change when a party comes into power must be changed. We all know how Vimal Veeravansa spoke about how our government was at fault when the name boards were in Tamil. But when he attended an opening ceremony in Mena, the Tamil wordings were above the Sinhalese words. They are implementing all what they have been criticizing. We don't engage in politics of that nature.
Last week, we at News First reported to you about a group of residents in Dimbulagala who take an immense risk and put their lives on the line when crossing a river. Although officials did pay attention to this matter, the team that came to inspect the situation faced unexpected circumstances.
Last week, we reported the tragic story where for 20 years, residents of the Bibile area in Dimbulagala crossing the Damalal River by making a human bridge. We showed you the footage of this child dangerously crossing the river without proper safety measures. After seeing this, President Gotabaya Rajapaksa has paid attention to this and have sent a few officers to the location. While the officers were there, the child in the footage fell into the Damal River. According to our correspondent, the child has faced the accident when he was returning home from school with his mother. The officers of the Road Development Authority have immediately admitted the child to the hospital and he is currently under treatment at the Bibile Base Hospital. President says the government will take steps to issue death certificates to missing persons. The President has made this statement when he met with the United Nations Resident Coordinator Hannah Singer over the weekend.
The President's Media Division notes that United Nations Resident Coordinator responded positively to his commitment to sustainable development. The discussions, among other concerns, included poverty alleviation, climate control, digitizing government offices, addressing missing persons and better management of refugees. President Rajapaksa has outlined his plans to address the issue of missing persons. He has explained that these missing persons are actually dead. President has noted that most of them had been taken by the LTTE or forcefully conscripted. The families of the missing attest to it. However, they do not know what has become of them and so claim to be missing. After the necessary investigations, President said the steps would be taken to issue a death certificate of these missing persons. Afterwards, their families would be given the support needed to continue with their lives. President Rajapaksa has said Tamil politicians would reject this solution as it would nullify their political agenda. He, however, has noted that this would help the affected families. The possibility of Vietmaga members contesting the upcoming elections was questioned at a press briefing organized by the Vietmaga organization today. No, we are not contesting under Vietmaga, but people are expecting well-educated people to come to parliament. That will definitely happen. in the future.
මොන පක්ෂෙන්ද ඔබතුමාලා තරඟ වදින්නේ වියතුන්? ඉතින් මම තරඟ වදින්නෙත් නෑ පක්ෂෙකුත් නෑ. තරඟ වදිනවා නම් වියතුන් කොයි? ඒ වියතුන් එක අහන්න ඕනේ ඒක.
දැකන ආරංචි මත ගෝඨාභය රාජපක්ෂ මහත්මයා පාර්ලිමේන්තුවේ මුණ වෙනස් කිරීමේ උත්සාහ දරනවා කියන එක පැහැදිලියි. ඒ වගේම දේශපාලන වේදිකාව තුළ කතා වෙන කතාවක් තමයි එතුමා සමග වැඩ කරපු වියත්මගේ සංවිධානයේ ඉන්න විද්වත් පිරිසක් පාර්ලිමේන්තුව ගෙනීම සඳහා උත්සාහ දරනවා කියන කතාව කියනවා. ඔව්. එතකොට කොහොමද කොතනින්ද ඔය කියන වියත්මල් සංවිධානයේ පිරිස මේ පාර්ලිමේන්තුව සඳහා ඇතුළු වෙන්නේ?
We all know what the party is. Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna is the party that supported the president. That is the party.
ඒ වෙනකොට එනං ඒ සමාජිකත්වයේ ලබාගෙන තින්නේ නෑ නෑ තාම නෑ.
Now, remaining on a similar note, will the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna provide nominations for members of Vietmaga? State Minister Rohita Begunawardena answered the following questions posed by journalists in this regard.
Usually at a general election, we provide candidacy for all members who represented Parliament. Also, the other parties who are with us are parties who have formed an alliance with the SLPP. There is no need to give the numbers. One district has a limited number. Take for an example the Kalutara district, my district. Only 13 people are eligible to contest the election. 5 people are already in Parliament. Therefore, only a limited number remains. We will look into the matter of how to implement this.
All UNP electoral organisers have been summoned for a meeting chaired by opposition leader Sajith Premadasa. The meeting is to start at 3 p.m. in Colombo. Another meeting of the United National Front is to be held at 10 a.m. tomorrow in Parliament.
I think Karu Jayasuriya and Ranil Wickramasinghe are carrying out further discussions. I think all of them will hold discussions with Sajith Premadasa and come to a solution that everyone can agree upon in the coming few days. There are problems within the party. We have to solve these issues immediately and contest the general election as one group. We met a few times now and expressed our stance to our leader. We told him that we will give him the respect he deserves and to hand over the party leadership. I personally felt that he will adhere to it, but it is upon the request of a few people that he is still holding on to it.
There are multiple paths that we can choose to go forward. We must choose the most transparent path that will enable us to serve the public in the best possible way. We can even choose to go forward in a stubborn and lonely road. We are currently in the process of designing this pathway. We hope to hold a large conference on the 26th under the patronage of Sajith Premadasa and other party leaders of the alliance. During this event, we hope to discuss the measures we would take with regard to the upcoming general election. The path Sajith Premadasa has chosen to go forward with is correct. He does not have any interest to obstruct Ranil Wickramasinghe or Karu Jayasuriya. He is of the stance that we must consider the majority's mandate. So the majority's mandate is the mandate of the villagers. We consider the people's mandate. Therefore, we believe all leaders will consider this as well. I believe this issue will be solved by the end of this week.
Four new ambassadors along with a new High Commissioner concurrently accredited to Sri Lanka presented their credentials to President Gotabaya Rajapaksa at the President's official residence in Colombo today.
Ambassadors to the State of Qatar, Republic of Turkey, Luxembourg, Republic of Slovenia and the High Commissioner to the Islamic Republic of Pakistan have been appointed. His Excellency Jasim bin Jabir handed over his credentials as the ambassador to the State of Qatar. Her Excellency Riki Bedimet handed over her credentials as the ambassador to the Republic of Turkey, and His Excellency Jean-Claude Kugner handed over his credentials to the President as the ambassador to Luxembourg. His Excellency Professor Marjan Zensen was appointed as the new ambassador to Slovenia. His Excellency retired Major General Mohammad Zadi Batak, who was appointed as the High Commissioner to Pakistan, also handed over his credentials to the President. According to the President's media division, the President had pointed out the importance of education, development, technology and agriculture ties with Sri Lanka to the newly appointed ambassadors of the respective countries. Meanwhile, the Court of Appeal judge AHMD Nawaz was sworn in as the acting chairman of the Court of Appeal before the President today.
A group of second-year students have been suspended from the Eastern University over an incident of ragging.
A group of second-year students had assaulted a first-year student attached to the Faculty of Arts at the Eastern University this morning. The attack was reported to be an organized move against a student who opposed ragging. The injured student is currently receiving treatment at the Batticaloa Teaching Hospital. The administration of the Eastern University said the situation is currently under control. However, the university has been closed down for students of the first and second years until further notice. Recently, a clash was reported at the cafeteria of the Colombo University over an incident of ragging. 12 students were arrested and placed in remand custody in connection to the incident. An attack on students cannot be considered as a civilized act. This uncivilized political culture that is seen within local universities must be stopped. Ragging must be swept out of the university system of the country. The university system must move away from this violent culture and democracy should be established within universities. The society has a responsibility to create an environment conducive for students to study at state universities. The government has a responsibility to do this. We have a massive challenge on our hands to save the university system of this country. Therefore, I believe that the government, administration of the universities and the society should unite to erase ragging from state universities. 12 fundamental rights petitions which sought an order to be made on the Attorney General to institute legal action against all those responsible for failing to prevent the April 21st attack was taken up for examination today. The petitions are examined by a 7-judge bench of the Supreme Court led by Chief Justice Jayanta Jayasuriya. Former President Maithripala Sirisena, former Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe, IGP Pujith Jayasundara, who was sent on compulsory leave, and ex-Defence Secretary Hemasiri Fernando have been named as respondents of the case. Farzana Jamil, Deputy Solicitor General appearing for the Attorney General, informed the 7-judge bench of the Supreme Court, led by the Chief Justice this morning, that the Attorney General will not be representing the former President and the former Prime Minister in this case.
The world's largest gathering of twins was held this evening at the Sugatadasa Stadium under the auspices of Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa.
The event commenced at 4:30 this evening with the attendance of 12,492 twins from across the island. Twins representing the clergy, 3 armed forces, various professions brought life to the event.
Sri Lanka's stocks closed 0.45% weaker earlier today, dragged down by food, beverage and tobacco industries according to brokers. The all-share price index or the ASPI closed 26.72 points or 0.45% down at 5,906.20, falling for the 5th straight day. The S&P SL20 index of more liquid stocks closed at 6.40 points or 0.23%, down at 2,784.66. Market turnover was 489.5 million rupees. The exchange rate of the major currencies were as follows. In more local news now, the government announced that the European Union reassured that it will continue the GSP Plus concession to Sri Lanka till 2023, while noting that there will be no changes in the monitoring process. Now, what exactly is this monitoring process? Will Sri Lanka lose GSP Plus after 2023 with becoming upper middle income country? We spoke to the deputy head of the mission of delegation of the European Union to Sri Lanka in this regard.
GSP Plus is not automatic. It is granted based on promises and commitments to continue effective implementation of 27 international conventions, so related to human rights, labor rights, environment and good governance. And there is a continuous implementation based on these 27 conventions. Now, for example, there are also regular monitoring missions. The last one has visited Sri Lanka in September 2019, and an overall global report on the GSP Plus scheme, including on progress in Sri Lanka, will be presented to the European Parliament and discussed there in the next few months.
The Generalized Scheme of Preferences Plus is a special component of the GSP scheme that provides additional trade incentives to developing countries and duty-free access to EU markets for over 7,200 products. The EU is by far Sri Lanka's biggest export destination, with nearly 30% of the total exports going to Europe, a value of 2.8 billion euros. With Sri Lanka graduating from the GSP scheme in 2023, sectors that benefited from the concession will be compelled to trade on standard trade terms.
Legally, from a European Union viewpoint, it's not possible to retain it the moment a country reaches the upper middle income status. What that would mean is essentially the trade will continue on standard WTO terms. So the 3-year count will start from the 1st of January 2020, essentially. And if during that 3 years, for some reason, the status changes again and the income goes below the threshold for an upper middle income country, Sri Lanka would be a full member again. But frankly, we would not hope that. The entire scheme is up for review by 2023 on a global level, with all countries benefiting from it. So it's very difficult to predict now exactly what our member states and our parliament will tell us the future GSP Plus scheme looks like. That would be a bit premature. We will see clearer in a year or two, I would think.
When a country, say the GSP Plus country, reaches the upper middle income status, they will give you 3 years, because they want to see that country maintains the upper middle income status for 3 consecutive years. So according to the World Bank figures, 2019 July, when they looked at the figures up to 2018 July, they realized that okay, Sri Lanka has crossed into upper middle income bracket. Now from 2018, they will give you 3 more years. That means 19, 20, 21. And then they will give additional 1 year as a grace period, 2022. And then since it's going to be middle of 2022, they will not implement this from middle of the year. So they will have an extra six months.
Let's now take a look at the exchange rates of major currencies as opposed to the Sri Lankan rupee.
And that's a wrap of Primetime News for tonight. For the Newsfirst team, I'm Dasni Atada.
And I'm Zaimal Ratnayaka.
Take care.
And good night.